Okay. All right. I do not see us on Facebook. Oh, we do. I do. I do. I do. I do. Yay. Yay.
Okay.
We're on Facebook. Oop, oop. All right. We are back on. We are back on Facebook Live.
Well, just imagine if we only had two Facebooks tonight. Just imagine.
There we go. Terrence, aloha. Aloha. Yeah, yay. We got Facebook back. Yes, we did, Salida. We're back in action. We had 3 nights without Facebook Live, but we're back.
It was like quarantine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, we had a short-term quarantine. So awesome. I
You,
see
you,
some
you,
YouTube comments. I see some Facebook comments. Let
you
us know
folks,
where you're from, guys. Let us know where you at right at this moment.
they're all from Aloha, the state of Aloha.
I see a lot of alohas. There's a place in Oregon right next to Beaverton called Aloha, Oregon. But I don't think these people are from
Aloha.
Oregon. hmm
Yeah.
Look at all.
We're,
No, we're not. We're not in Facebook jail.
no,
No.
we weren't. It was due to technical
Op-
difficulties.
Operator error.
Nobody told us the word reboot.
Yeah, yeah. We got it fixed though. Oh, look them. South Alabama, Chinatown, Wailua, Montana. Yay! Boring, Oregon. Terrence, what are you doing in Oregon?
Tearing too.
South Terrence, Ale, the Beast.
Oh,
Oh, look at all these people. My gosh. Guys, Hilo, Monterey, California, formerly from Anini and Anahola. Awesome. Kalaheo, Mililani,
living room.
Orange County, California. Kekaha.
Hmm. Sacramento, Glenda. Yeah, Sacramento.
Wow. 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 We get them across the country, man. This is so cool. Beautiful Kalaheo. I like this exercise, Charles. I really like this exercise that we get
Look at
to
that. Look at
share.
that. We got somebody from Wiesbaden, Germany, right there.
Really?
Unreal.
I must have missed that one.
Yeah, you never. I just made it up.
Oh, Mao, in my pants. Okay, okay, Chelsea. In my pants. Kikaha kapa'a. Guys, we're gonna South Kohala, right on, Big Island.
Whoa, Fukuoka, Japan.
A town. A town. Vegas. Charlie, my dad sent me a box of Snickers today. A huge box of Snickers and 100 grand. Sorry, because I get this new light that is blinding me. So sorry for the squinting eyes, but it's not a David Ige impression. All right, it's not a David Ige impression. It's just the light is. Waimea Hana, awesome, awesome.
Let me tell you,
Welcome.
I must um I must confess a sin that I did today. You
Uh-oh.
know, the wife and I, we found this a new ice cream. It's by Haagen Dazs. It's coconut pineapple. It is the bomb. Okay, so called her up and she said, "Sweetheart, we only had one left. I bought the last one." I go, "Oh," and when the small pint size don't last too long for me and her. So I said, she said, "Try go check times in Kukui Mall." So I went to Times and I saw five there. I never care who was standing in line behind me. I grabbed all five
All right,
and I made sure
Charles.
I went look underneath, make sure the bag was all empty in the bag. It was. I bought all five. So I'm sorry, but I came home smiling all the way home. So I got the last five. And you know what? Because my
Ah.
My dad say, never argue about food. He's right. I come back tomorrow. If they restock them, I gonna buy the next all five.
Buy them all, Charles. Buy them all.
Yes, yes.
Hey, I see some of you guys are. What platform are we using? No, we're not using StreamYard. We're using Restream. We are using Restream. Rosie, you are asking what station you are watching. You are watching from Facebook. You are watching from Facebook. Hamma7 is watching from YouTube. Thank you for subscribing to my channel today, guys. Hamma, I saw you subscribe. Listen up, guys. We're almost at 1,000 followers on. Wait. What am I trying to? Yeah,
Let
we're
me.
almost on 1,000 followers on YouTube. So subscribers, I should say. So if you haven't already, go to my. There we go. I don't know if you can see that because of the live and the counter is blocking the top. But anyway, go to my YouTube channel, Mel Raposo. Subscribe, like it, click the
Mhm.
bell, because you never know when Facebook can pull a fast one. So this way we get everybody on. If you don't see us on Facebook and you're subscribed to YouTube, you will get notified anytime. And remember, sometimes we go live on YouTube or we'll post a video on YouTube and not on Facebook. So make sure you subscribe to Facebook. Um, it's definitely our preferred platform is Facebook, but we do them on all. So
Mhm.
this looks and sounds great. Thank you. Yes, I think I actually like Restream because the quality is better, the sound and the video, and
Yes,
we get to share the chat. I know if you're on your phone, it's really hard to see the comments, but if you're watching it from your desktop or your iPad, the
yes.
comments are very big and clear, and it's nice to
Yeah,
see everybody's comments. Everybody's comments is so cool, Charles. So cool,
yeah,
as you can see.
yes, yes,
Oh, Renell, Renell is on YouTube. I can tell where you're calling, where you guys coming from. So cool. How
yes,
was your day, Charles? How was your day?
yes. Well, as you can see, I'm in a giddy mood. It was one of those days that I started off. It started off slow. I had to, as most of you know, I am now down at the Lihue Airport, um, taking care of the security for the state of Hawaii, Lihue Airport. Point of entry, point of departure. Some of my counterparts on the other islands, such as the Big Island, they needed some extra uniforms, and I had some in the sizes they wanted, especially when you get big Kanakas working in the security industry. So I boxed them up, and as well as some of our hats that our company had put out. So I sent two boxes up to Hilo today. So I utilized I'm saying this because I want to give a shout out to the men and women of Aloha Air Cargo. Thank you very much. Very kind, very patient. I don't usually send things out that way, but there is a procedure. There are questions they ask whether you have lithium batteries, whether you have any kind of explosive, that kind of stuff. And they explain to you about taking dimensions, weighing the boxes, point of origin, point of destination, and contact numbers and so forth and so forth. But the patience they had with me today, I went in at 6 o'clock in the morning because they open at 6, and I'm just so thankful the patience they had because I went in at 6 for two boxes, and I left at about 8:30. So I'm just so grateful to them for having that patience. It's like hello, my name is Charlie. One of those things, and I was just trying to explain to them, and they just what more can I say? Then I went into the office, and you know, despite how we feel about over tourism or travelers or whatever you want to call it, at least they came in. They all had their mask on. I can say that on a stack of Bibles because I watched, especially those coming in from closer to baggage claim B, where my office is at, and I just watched them coming out of the foyer, and they all had their mask on, and I'm just grateful. Thank you very, very much to our travelers from the mainland and our returning Residents, thank you so much for having your mask on. And I notice more often that people are doing their darndest to social distance. I thought I would never see that day, but it's happening. Where I don't see it is when everyone is in a mad rush if they got to the airport late. They don't care who they're standing next to. They don't care who they push. They're like those last few bites of sardines that just need to get in the can with the oil. You know what I mean? And they're pushing their way through. But those who are arriving, they keep their distance. It's unbelievable. It's like night and day. And so basically, that's how my day went today. I did start Halloween early. I bought candies for the office, and not to mention names, but I got some individuals like Paul Pomeroy and Carl Schumacher. They like their sweets. I didn't know that they eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But anyway, they like their sweets, their Snickers, their Kit Kats, their Babe Ruths, their Milky Way. You know, so I told them, you guys enjoy, and save some for everybody else. But if not, just enjoy. I hope you guys get cavities tomorrow. But anyway, good bunch of guys. Good bunch of guys.
Keep the dentists in business, man. Keep the
Yep.
dentists in business.
Yep. Hmm.
So, I know we sounds like Mel. Come on, Dale. Uh, couple
No,
of
it
things.
sounds like me. Sounds like me. He said.
I do want to say hi to Liz. I got the chance to meet Liz today in a local coffee shop down there in the Louis Plantation building. Great meeting you, Liz. Great discussion. And couple of things I want to talk about. One of the things is kind of tied to what you just talked about, the visitors or travelers. And one of the things, I don't know if you folks have been getting all these emails from the airlines, $70 travel trips to the mainland, really encouraging, enticing our local residents to fly to the mainland when now is not the oh, me, I'm sorry, me. So I didn't see the exclamation
Yep.
mark. My eyes are, like I said. But we're at a point now that we want to kind of keep our numbers down and not encourage more cases.
Hmm.
And even after the governor said he was working with the airlines to when he came out with his notice or message to stop the not, please, tourists don't come to Hawaii. But yet, and while he said was working really well with the airlines, the next day the cheap fares started flying, and it's continuing. Today I got one from, I think it was Hawaiian, $70, incredible. um that's not doing their part. They're actually enticing people. But the bigger news today, I think, is the President Biden, now lifting all the travel restrictions for international travelers.
Hmm.
Basically, opening the gates for international travelers to come to Hawaii with a vaccine. They got to be vaccinated and they got to be tested. But we all know that that's not the solution. I mean, we know that the pre-test and a post-test is ideal. Um, but for the life of me, the timing when cases are skyrocketing throughout the country, why would we even think about lifting travel restrictions at this time in any place, whether it's international or mainland? Or now is not the time to do that. The last thing we need is these guys coming from countries that have variants bring it into our country. I don't know what the heck he was thinking, but I don't think that's wise. I don't know what your thoughts are, Charlie. I know you guys got to secure the airports, but my God, I think just generally speaking, when we are concerned about rising cases, and I meant to say this early on, we lost with our 11th fatality today on Kauai. 60, a woman in her 60s passed away, and that's number 11. And our prayers and condolences go out to the family. I don't know who that person is yet, but our prayers and condolences go out to the family of our 11th fatality. The numbers are climbing. I mean, the deaths are still climbing. The deaths haven't ended, and I just think it's not the right time to lift any travel restrictions of anybody coming into the United States or into Hawaii for that matter. I don't know what you think, Charlie.
Well, I'm sort of speechless right now because, like you said, on one hand, we're fighting this. We're fighting this deadly variant. Okay, and we kind of don't really have a handle on it. But our president is doing, hey, the more the merrier type attitude. So you open things wide up, right? Okay. International travel, do not participate with the CDC. I'm sorry. So what's the verification process? I've said that a million times and I'll keep on saying it. What is the verification process? We don't have it. We are hardly doing a good job now as it is. We can only verify what's in the state of Hawaii. I just got my VAMS paper yesterday. I asked for it. And it's very detailed. It's very broken down. I think everyone should have that. And if you folks don't know what it is, it's when you got vaccinated, you went into that verification, that management system. So it has your lot number, it has everything, when you took it, what location, what time. It has everything under the sun on that piece of paper. Now, if you're one of those bananas that would try to forge that, you got to be really good to know what information and in what sequence to put that information in there on that paper. You really have to know that process. So that's one. Two, Mel, I don't want to get ahead, but we're going to talk about this. I'm very disappointed with our governor. In reading this morning's news, he decides to give an exemption. Now, this is what I'm kind of a little bit miffed at. I understand and we participate as a contractor for the state of Hawaii working in a state facility such as the airport. All the employees under my watch, and I'm responsible for them, either have to be vaccinated or if they're getting vaccinated, their second shot plus 14 days. If not, they have to be tested until they get their second shot plus 14 days, and those tests have to come back negative. If they don't want to get vaccinated, they've given an option. They can get tested, and they get tested weekly. This is the mandate by the governor. True or false?
True.
So we did it. So people like Allied Universal Security, Shioi Contractor, Shioi Construction, that's doing the improvements on the airport. All your taxi drivers, anytime you come into that state facility to pick up somebody, you have to have all of that paperwork in order because you can get audited at any time. That's a requirement that the state made, not us. So I have to make sure that all of the employees that are under my command, I have to account for it, right? He goes and he gives an exemption to Hawaiian Airlines as well as TSA because they weren't given enough time. Well, I wasn't given enough time. And yet I had countless nights thinking, how the hell am I going to get through this? But I did it. And unfortunately, some individuals didn't have their tests. They couldn't come to work. And I'm sorry. But that's the mandate the state put in. But here you got these airlines, right? So now they say they can't comply within, they have until October 15th. Gee whiz, Hawaiian Airlines, look, every day they got a large group of people testing positive. So I don't know how you're going to come in compliance.
They won't.
So
That is why.
sorry
No,
for
no, I
getting
mean,
sorry for getting upset, but
I
that's
had that.
that's good for some and not good for others. That's what I don't get. It's just like, again, you penalizing. Forget it. I don't even like
No,
those.
no, no. I actually had this. I get my little list of notes right here, Charlie, and I had that. I had that as the finale. But
No, I couldn't wait.
let's yeah, I know, I can tell, but that's cool because it's a great segue into the travel part.
Mhm.
Because when I saw that this morning, obviously, I as I'm normally very cool, calm, and collected, but I blew a gasket because Charlie, we have been saying that all along. We have been saying that from March 22nd or whatever it was in 2000 when I did my first impromptu Facebook live, and at that point, it was very clear that this governor. Remember now, this is before we knew anything about COVID, but we knew that this governor, his advisors were Hawaiian Airlines chief executive officer and president Mufi Hanneman from HLTA, HTA. All of the visitor industry people were his advisors, and he never he doesn't care if the perception is that he has sold out to the industry today. If you weren't convinced before today, you should be. When he came out with, Charlie, you said it right. People like yourself, and because we spoke about it, we spoke about this on the phone about the pressure you were on to get your employees vaccinated and tested or tested. You, among many other companies, corporations, small businesses, everybody, all contractors, had to go and broke their nuts to go get this thing done by the deadline. And all of a sudden, we're going to exempt airlines. Oh, we're going to exempt TSA because he knows that if they don't comply, they cannot operate. We know that Hawaiian Airlines tests their employees every day, and we know that they have a between anywhere from 60 to 80% positivity rate at their with their airline employees. We know that the virus is at the airport. We know that the virus is at the airlines. We know that the virus is at TSA. And that is the two locations that he has exempted from his rule in state facilities. It's crazy. And he doesn't care. He does not care. He has made his commitment to the industry and he's going to live by it and at all costs. I keep asking myself, how many of the 100 plus deaths we've had in recent weeks could have been saved if our governor, lieutenant governor, and I don't buy this lieutenant governor's turnaround again, the flip back, disagreeing with the governor again now because the people are up in arms.
Mhm.
I don't buy that flipping and flopping and change your mind every time people get mad. You say what they want to hear. You know, I don't buy that. The fact is, our state had the opportunity 6 to 8 weeks ago to do what it takes to curb the cases and the deaths, and they chose not to. And as a result, many people died. And I don't know how they sleep at night. And to come out with this exemption today, specifically favoring the visitor industry once again, I think it's appalling. I think it's appalling, and it's frustrating. And when you read that in the morning, and then in the afternoon you read that Kauai got our 11th fatality, it kind of breaks your heart. Kind of breaks your heart,
Yeah.
and it's just sad. It's just sad. It's a sad day for Hawaii because our leaders are a bunch of ass clowns. That's the bottom line. I don't know how else to say it.
Well, I do want to say, on a brighter note, thank you to the men and women of the company that I represent. I thank them as employees because they know how difficult it was, but they came into compliance. I thank all the contractors at the airport that also know how difficult it was, but they came into compliance. I thank them very much. Okay. I don't want to belittle TSA because they have a hard task. And I understand that if without them, that airport doesn't move. So, yes, I want them to be safe. But we all got to try our best, and we all sometimes have to work under some pretty tough constraints. But that's what it is. And remember, my whole beef has been from day one. Everything is about the message, right, Mel? What
Yes,
is the
sir.
message? What is the message that you send? What's good for some is not good for all. Yeah. What kind of message is that? then how do you have people buying into what you're trying to achieve? And that is, if you let that message out, that's one example. Now you flip that and say, you need to get vaccinated. Why should they believe you about vaccinations now? You are the very, very one at this time that's making it so difficult for people to believe what you're saying. These individuals, they only see as far as the tip of their noses. They don't see far down the road what the implications are. You start one, you better stick with it throughout the rest of the time or the rest of its duration, and don't change your sides. That's how you're going to get an effective message across. I guess we've been doing that, and we've been pounding the beat, and we have been giving the same message over and over again. And I think that's why people gravitate towards this show. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart, because we try our darndest to make sure that we stay on top of the message that we are giving the men and women of Hawaii who watch our show. True or false, Mel?
True.
Yep.
True.
And also, I'd like to also mention, while I was buying up all that ice cream, a gentleman stopped me, and I had to keep it in stride, because why? I never liked the ice cream melt, but he felt the need. He came up to me and he said, he knows you, Mel. He said, Charlie, Uncle Charlie, call me Uncle Charlie. I'm going to tell you something. I know more Facebook. My wife does. She got me turned on. I started watching you and Uncle Mel from last year all the way to now. And even if I go fall asleep, I'm going to wake up in the morning and I'm going to watch the recording, because you know what? You guys speak the truth. And I go, that's so kind of you. What is your name? His name is Bob Ferreira. He said he knows you about something to do with the bypass. He said he
Yeah.
remember you. And unbelievable individual, and he paid a compliment. And I just like to say mahalo to all of you that stopped me at opportune as well as inopportune time. But thank you for coming up and saying hello, and and thank you for the compliments about watching the show and where that's taken you. And I know from the other night when we finally came back on Facebook, we saw all these beautiful comments that people was actually going through withdrawals because we were off of Facebook for those 3 days. And you know something? It really touched my heart. So thank you very, very much. I'm glad we're back on.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Even me again today, Liz, stopping me and just chatting and sharing some thoughts. That was awesome. Do we know how many of those deaths were unvaccinated? No, we don't. That's one of the things, and I've asked the Department of Health to share that number because I think it's important. Again, and we talk about this a lot about vaccinated versus unvaccinated, and it is the policy of this show that we respect everybody's choice. But I believe that to keep everybody well informed is the right way to go. Whatever it is, there should be no lack of transparency by the government. You
Mhm.
know, if vaccinated people are not surviving COVID, I think the public should know. If whatever it is, I think we need to be transparent. And that's what frustrates me is because see when they don't reveal that information purposely now, they're consciously not releasing that particular information. It creates this skepticism, this distrust that yeah, they're not telling us because I bet there was unvaccinated people, or vaccinated people. Uh, Listen, guys, we're beyond that point already. We're beyond the point of vaccinated versus unvaccinated. Everybody knows what they're going to do or not going to do. The fact of the matter is that we have people dying, we have people getting sick, we have people going to the hospital, and we have a lot of people surviving. I mean, this is a virus, this is a pandemic. But when the government doesn't share all the information, even on clusters, right? Some clusters gets released, some don't. Some churches get released, some don't. Why do they play that game with the people? And that's what's causing the division because when you don't lay out the facts, all the facts, you leave a lot of room for um, uh, speculation and rumors. Um, I mean, I just want to hold on. I'm just trying to post this comment. I just saw a comment fly by, but they don't. They keep it a secret and they allow people to go out and create their speculations. Allow people to go ahead and start spreading information that they may not be accurate. But it's because that's human nature, and the solution is real simple. Just let the public know what's going on. Let the public know what's going on. All of it, not some of it, not just the information that moves your agenda forward, all of it. And I cannot believe that it's a year and a half or even more, they still withhold information from the public, and the people are asking.
Well,
I know Reina says the majority is unvaccinated, and why isn't that coming from the government? Why isn't it coming? Just saying, hey, people say HIPAA, HIPAA, HIPAA. The fact that you tell me if the person was vaccinated or not, that will not that will not even give me a clue as to who the person was. You know what I'm saying? The fact that you tell me, 80% of the deaths were unvaccinated or vaccinated, that's not a HIPAA violation. You're not telling me who it is. I'll never figure it out. It's crazy. And I just wish that they would be more open, more transparent. It's not hard to do. It's actually easier to release all the information than every day got to meet. What we're going to let the public know. Oh shit, I don't like them hear that part. Can we keep that part out? No, man. It's easier just to have your um, structure of your press releases, fill in the blanks, and let it out like we do on Kauai. Why is that so difficult? I don't know. I don't know. Uh, what are you eating, Charlie? That sounds good, man.
it's
That
crunchy
sounds
Snickers.
good.
It's the new Snickers. It's called
Mm.
Crunchy Snickers.
Clarity and transparency. I think that's kind of the key. I just don't get it. I don't understand why the secrecy. And Charlie, I know you get all the calls. You get calls all the time, messages from people
Mhm.
asking questions that we don't have answers for, and we don't have the ability to
Mhm.
get the answers because it's being held. It's being held in top secret, the top secret file.
Well, let me tell
Uh,
you one thing. I heard it on good authority that our government, our governor, is actually trying to redefine the word transparency.
it means partly observable. Today there was a Blangiardi's press conference on his extension of the restrictions, and I was watching this thing live, and I'm just referring to the comment I just posted up there. Mel, I saw your frustration today trying to get the media to ask the question we all wanted answered. He was talking about all the things that you cannot do, all the places you cannot have gatherings, and I kept asking the question over and over about luau's, about churches, and the media refused to ask that question. It's like the media. I think that is the question that is off limits. When they send the notice of the press release, they let the media know, hey, do not ask this question. Because I wasn't the only one asking that question. I was the only one asking them over and over and over and over and over. I figured they'd get tired of it and they would eventually ask the question they didn't ask. How the hell can you allow luau's with 300 and 400 people 3 times a week? How can you allow that to continue, but you cannot allow local families to get together? That was the only question. And he refused to ask. The media, I blame the media, all of them refused to ask the question. It's frustrating
Mhm.
because I think that is a very valid and important question. And it goes back to transparency. See, the fact of the matter is there is no reason other than we don't want to screw up our tourists. We don't want to inconvenience our tourists. They spend a lot of money to come here. You guys live here. There's nothing you can do. So you cannot, you don't pay TAT taxes. The tourists do. So we're not going to take that away from them. and I think it's appalling. I think it's unfair. I think it's wrong. But they hold the key, right? They hold the key. It's all about the money, and it's frustrating, terribly frustrating.
Well, everything that, any responsible manager, and I'm going to use me as an example. I was told from day one, and it's not with this job. It was my job when I first swore and took an oath to protect and serve. I remember our instructors telling us back then, when the day we had our um, significant others pin us on stage, where we took that we when we took that solemn oath. Our instructors told us before we took that oath. He said, "Remember one thing: you will be judged just by your profession as it is right now, and you have to uphold yourself more than the average person. Meaning, whether you're on duty or off duty, people will judge you. So if you want to become effective, you got to carry on your life when you're working as well as when you're not working, all at an even keel right across." And that's where the word fairness comes in, because you can be fair in one aspect and not fair in the other. And that's not going to work. What I learned from that is the government we have now, they will tell you you can only have so much in a gathering. But yet they don't realize get people watching, and they're going to do something and they're going to exceed that number of gathering that's going to gather. And they think it's okay. Again, that's the kind of message that becomes convoluted to the point people just don't give a shit. And then these politicians wonder why nobody listening. First, you need to look at yourself. You need to ask yourself, why aren't they listening? Then the moment somebody asks a question, you got to be able to owe up and ask for or apologize because you thought you were skating free, that nobody saw you what you were doing. Well, guess what, folks? It doesn't happen that way anymore. You know the mighty cell phone? You'd be surprised. The mighty cell phone has brought some pretty high level people down to their knees. And that's the reason why. That is my contention to this whole thing. It's all about the messaging. It's very hard to follow someone's message if they're going to keep on violating that message. It's very, very difficult. It's very, very difficult. And all I ask is that some of these individuals just throttle back and just think about what you're saying first. That's all I'm saying. I said, you,
Yeah.
you can go by your conviction, but no act holier than thou and start trashing everybody else, but can live by the same rules that you're applying. To me, that sucks. And that's why people get upset.
Basic leadership, basic management.
Yep.
Treat everybody fair, consistently, no favorites, and this people have completely violated that rule from day one. Melanie Nicole had a comment. I'm so sorry. It did go past. I missed it. Someone asked me if I read. I went back and found it. I'm going to read it.
Okay.
Um, it says, "Uncle, aloha, uncles, watching from South Kona, Kau Moku o Ke Ave. Something came up today I thought you might be able to ask your pros about. My daughter, 14, fully vaccinated, woke up this morning symptomatic. Kept her home and headed in for a test. In the meantime, got a call from her KHS principal to inform me she had been ID'd as a close contact of a positive case on the bus. Had contact with that person Friday morning. So now we were at the urgent care. She's symptomatic and a confirmed close contact. When I told the intake staff her situation and asked for a rapid test, I was told that there is a shortage of rapid tests on Hawaii Island and that rapid tests are being reserved for travelers only." Okay, now I'm pissed. Now I'm pissed. I didn't read this before. I'm reading it out loud. So now we are both feeling ill and due to an express backlog of tests, are waiting 24 to 72 hours for our results. Couldn't take my upset out on the staff. Yeah, good, because it's not the staff's fault. Or, of course, but I feel like I have to get to the bottom of this. We will definitely look into that, Melanie. That,
Get a hold of Dr. Akiona right away. Maybe if she can private message you, you can ask Misco how to get in touch with Dr. Akiona because she needs to get tested.
well, no,
Like
they're
this.
tested. They couldn't get the rapid test. They wanted a rapid test, but apparently the rapid tests are only being used are being held for visitors, for tourists. We'll find out. We will find out. That is criminal. There is absolutely no reason to doubt what you're saying. I believe you. But we will definitely find out uh, what the hell happened. And we're praying for a good result. If both of you are sick, the reality is, if you both are symptomatic and she did, or your child did come in contact with a positive case in a bus. One of the things, Charlie, I noticed today, I followed two school buses today, all the windows up, all the windows in the buses, the two buses that I saw today. I shouldn't say all. The first bus had three windows open. The second bus I saw had one window open. But the man, um, why are you not? That windows should all be down. Those windows in those buses should all be down. Um, that bus is nothing but a huge petri dish for our kids who, in some cases, are sitting three in a seat. And these are stories I'm getting from parents. Again, do I blame the bus drivers? Absolutely not. Do I blame the State Department of Education and everybody that coordinates these things? Absolutely yes. Golly. The fact that you were denied a rapid test because they're holding it for visitors is criminal. It's criminal. I mean, I will follow up. I can promise you, I will follow up. Thank you
Yes.
for sharing. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Let
And
me
best
also
of luck. Best of luck for you and your daughter.
let me also share one thing. I tell you where everything was started to go left with this with everything. There was a time when we first talked about the vaccines. Mel and I probably I was asking those kind of questions that was well off the wall. Remember, Mel, when I first asked? So you're saying that there's a possibility we can be vaccinated, but can we still get infected and not know it? And in the beginning, they were kind of alluding to the fact, like, yeah, but you still want to get vaccinated because if you get infected, it'll minimize the symptoms, right? Okay. Where everything went skew when mumbo jumbo is because the lieutenant governor, and I will quote what he said, maybe not word for word, but in so many words, he said that once you get vaccinated, you're 100% immune. You remember he said that on news? They
Absolutely.
talked about the travelers coming in. He said that. And right then and there, we knew that was a pile of bull crap because you don't get 100% immunity. All the vaccine will do, and it's important because you want to minimize the symptoms because you don't want to get to the point that you're at a point of no return. But you just tell it like it is. We're all grown adults. We can handle the truth. But when you start putting these kind of thoughts in people's heads, hey, the miracle drug, take the vaccine, you will never get sick from this thing. Then when people start getting sick, that's when people say, hey, you know, now what? Where did this come from? Again, there was no forethought in this whole process about what impact his words can have with the people of Hawaii. He had no idea. If you're the lieutenant governor, you got to watch what you say. Especially when you get one virus that's running rampant. People's emotions are vulnerable. Now's not the time to give mumbo jumbo answers. Be concise, be clear, and give it the truth. That's all people want.
Yeah. That was always a problem, though, Charlie. When the lieutenant governor was out telling everybody you get total immunity, we called him on that, and he stood by that, even when the rest of the world and the rest of the country was telling us otherwise.
Yeah,
He was using that as the bait. He was using this is what frustrates me
exactly.
about this whole vaccination thing. They threw out the bait. They threw out the bait that you would be totally immune. They threw out the bait that that you can win lotteries and win prizes and you can win all of these things because their motivation, their entire goal was to get people vaccinated, and they weren't truthful to the people. They weren't. And again, even when everyone else was saying this, he didn't. He stuck to his guns and said, "No, total immunity, total immunity, total immunity." Nothing gives you total immunity. And
Yes.
you don't have to be a doctor to know that. But see, by him planting that seed, there are a lot of people that, because he's a doctor and he's a lieutenant governor, started to believe that, and they believed it as gospel. And that's how the seeds were planted, and it became a very difficult time to convince people otherwise. And it's
Hmm.
shameful. But now we're seeing, right? The whole message really is, if you get vaccinated, the chances of getting severely ill and dying are reduced tremendously. That's what the vaccine does. It's not going to stop you from getting COVID. It's not going to stop you from passing COVID. It's going to prevent you from getting serious illness or death. That's what the message needs to be. That is what the message, that's the only message we should be spreading out, because it's true, it's real, it's factual, and it's the truth. And don't pass this thing off as a miracle drug, because it's not. It's not. I want to get to this comment real quick because this is one other thing that drives me nuts. Mel and Uncle Charlie, someone called me because her niece had kept her kids home. They are being court ordered to attend court for truancy. What the F? I'd go to court. I honestly would not send my kids to school. Uh, I wouldn't, especially if they're not vaccinated. So I would go to court. If they're going to send me to jail for keeping my kids safe, they're going to have a fight on their hands.
You know, it
But
doesn't
yeah.
make sense, Mel. This one doesn't make sense. You can have kids staying at home and homeschooled, right? There is no truancy. Usually, truancy means you have a child not going to school, but is being not monitored or in the presence of an adult. That's the way I always took it. But if
Mhm.
they're with you, that's your own kids, and you say, for now, I just gonna give you homeschool. If you're gonna go after the person that decides to change halfway upstream from going to school to homeschool, then every single person who homeschools their child, you better go after them too. I
Yep.
don't think they will. So
Nope.
that's why that to me that doesn't hold weight that they're going after you for truancy.
No, that
That
I mean, I don't even know how that would fly. But that
exactly.
is the law. They came out with this stupid law that they only give you so many absences a year, sick. I mean, legitimate or not. And I cannot imagine a judge today disciplining a parent for keeping their kid home at a time where COVID is running rampant in the schools, when 25% of our cases are the kids. Um, and if that happens, golly, God save us! I tell you, I cannot
No,
imagine that. And pardon me for looking off the screen, guys. I'm trying to track all your comments, and there's
yeah.
just a ton, and we appreciate it.
You
But I am
fight
listening.
you fight fire with fire, brother. If they tell you come in court, bring your kid, that's fine. The day you go caught, Your Honor, before we start, may I please advise the court? My child and I, we both are positive with COVID. Guarantee, okay, let's have a recess. Bailiff, escort them out, please.
Yeah,
Prepare with your court case. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.
yeah. No, absolutely, man. I mean, it's terrible. Like what? So, if your kid cannot swim and the school says you gotta swim, I know this for a fact because it happened to me.
You gotta go
You don't
PE.
know how to swim, and you
And
go
you gotta
pee.
go PE.
And
Yeah.
I mean, are you going to put your kid in an environment that's unsafe? No, you're not. And are you going to be prosecuted for doing that? Absolutely not. I mean, really, I think the courts get more important things to do and worry about responsible parents that are not comfortable with sending their kids to a school that has COVID. But I agree that is what's happening. I'm getting that a lot when people say, "Man, would you send your kid to school?" No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. Neither would Dr. Altenberg. Neither would many doctors we've had on the show. Now
You
that's
know
up to
what?
you. I don't. I don't. There's not a disrespect to anybody that has their kids going to. I'm just saying, me personally, wouldn't. I wouldn't do it. And and if the if the state wants to come after me, bring it.
You know, I would take my kid to court. I go, thank you, Your Honor. You know, I'm glad to be here.
Exactly.
Your Honor, did I make my point? I'm sorry,
No, no, you're right. You're right.
but I'm not sorry.
Hold on. Let me. I don't know. This one here, YSS Yisha. Yisha, change the
No,
narrative. I'm not sure what narrative you're talking about, but um, does the legislature need to reconvene to take action? If yes, what action? If no, then what? Because it's just going to be more of the same. This is me again. This is Mel Raposo talking, and I speak for no one else but myself. The legislative branch doesn't have administrative authority. They don't have the authority to direct any department to do anything, but they do have the authority to bring those people up to the legislature and hold them accountable. That's what I have not seen. I've seen a couple of sporadic commission or committee hearings, and I've seen the right questions get asked, but I don't see the follow up.
yeah.
I mean, I think some of these state laws that involve our kids at school,
Mhm.
especially those truancy laws, absolutely, the legislature can rewrite those laws, do an amendment to those laws during a pandemic. There's a lot of things the legislature can do, and I'm very disappointed that they haven't. Asking the questions and and trying to get these people to answer is one thing, but if there's no follow up, it's just an exercise. It's just an exercise, but they need to get more involved, I believe, and they haven't, as well as our county councils. I think Honolulu is very active. They've submitted several resolutions to the mayor. That doesn't happen in the other counties, and I'm not sure why. But it's
No,
accountability. It's holding these people accountable for the decisions that they are making. That needs to be done, and it's not.
Mel, let me ask you something. You've been in the council for many years. Do you think we have a system where too much power is given just to one person? And the reason why I say that is with a legislative body, you have a body of individuals. No one person can make the deciding role. It has to be a body voting on that rule, correct? In a
Yeah.
legislature. But when you get to the governor's level, for one man to make these kind of decisions, he has a lot of power.
Especially in a declared emergency, he has a lot of power.
Because he erases that declared emergency. It puts all the laws that's been passed, it puts everything on hold, and it favors whatever he decides for that period of time, correct? That's
Correct.
why it's only,
Correct.
that's why it's only supposed to be for a specific period of time.
Right.
But it seems like, I guess this is the first time a lot of people, I've seen it over and over in comments, that this governor seems to have kind of stretched those boundaries a little. I mean, I don't know. I don't know that side of the rules, but that's what I see in a lot of comments that's done. But I think there should be some kind of balance where the people's voices should be heard. But what we have to do is we have to decipher between fact and fiction. That's always been a problem. But yet, during a pandemic, I think it's only the best interest of all that the best will come out, and that you can cut with a knife. You'll see it. You know, it's not a pipe dream. But when you got one individual making some rules that everyone has to follow, and I think The moment I see there's a pushback and I look and hear the reasons and I see the difficulty it causes, then I question. So sometimes I even question, are those rules sound? And who gave them the idea? You know, because it seems apparent the first thing, anything he does that favors tourism or the traveler, we start nailing him because we know some of his advisors are from the industry, right? So that's why
Absolutely.
you go after him. So, and I just wanted to get your input on
Well,
that.
you know, that's the unfortunate thing. I mean, declared emergencies normally happen during natural disasters, right? Hurricanes, and they end, and the emergency ends, and then everything goes back to normal. But in this case, this emergency declaration is just keep on going and going and going. But at the end of the day, there is a balance of power. There is a separation of power, which is very clear. The governor cannot interfere with the legislative body, and the legislative body cannot interfere with the administrative body, but or the executive branch. But the legislative body controls the budget. So, and this is one of the things that I had a hard time, even all my years on the council, trying to get the action that we wanted to at the council level was really through the budget, where you tell the governor straight up, if you don't start to do things that we believe is right as the legislature, then we're going to start taking things away that you need, that you want to do, the non-essential stuff. We'll start cutting your budget. We'll clip your budget. That's the ultimate power of the legislative body. But in this case, as you know, Charlie, how many legislators, since this has started, how many legislators have stood up against the governor or some of these ridiculous decisions that are being made, these ridiculous comments that are being made? How many of our executive level personnel have been held accountable? We saw a little bit of it again, like at the last Senate COVID committee a couple of weeks ago, when Senator Dela Cruz called the
Question.
Attorney General and the Director of Health to the floor, called straight up about two things, right? About the travel protocols for testing protocols for travelers, as well as the Director of Health, Department of Health Director's total authorization for quarantines and anything having to do with the pandemic. Both of those issues were raised correctly by the legislature, but again, no follow up. Absolutely no follow up. And that, I think, is where I am concerned, because it's one thing to go out there and just call them to the table and say, "Hey, do you know that this is your authority? I have to go back and check with the Attorney General." No, I'm reading it to you right here.
Mm.
The statute is clear. I have to go back. Okay, you go check with the Attorney General, and we have you back here next week Wednesday at 2 o'clock, and you can provide us the answer. None of that. It comes and it goes and it disappears and it gets forgotten, and that is why this governor is allowed to run amok and do all these crazy things, because no one holds him accountable. They just let it go. And that is where I think the failures. And that's why I say, all you guys that live in all the different districts of this state, when election time comes around, you ask yourself, what did my representative do for us when it counted, when it was the most important during the pandemic? What did they do? You guys got to do that. These people need to know that they are accountable to you and not to the governor. And that's my response, Charlie. That same thing happens in Congress. Yeah, all the big body show, talk big on the floor because it's on TV, and then no more follow up. Clip the budget. You find out what the governor's pet projects are. Cut the freaking budget. He don't get his project. That's how politics work.
Mm.
And it shouldn't be that way. It should all be in the best interest of the people. But as you can see, Charlie, everything in Hawaii from day one has been in the best interest of the tourists. That's the problem, and it's difficult because we are in a tourist dependent economy. But it is what it is. It's not going to change for a while. So while we have this problem, legislature, hold your damn administrators accountable to their actions.
You know, we started off talking about this virus right tonight. But I kind of want to just expound upon what you just said about accountability and some of the politics. But this is sort of a side note. You look at the beautiful Emirates, Dubai, places like that, right? What their money, but everything that made them was the oil. Okay, so you take Dubai for instance, right? Enormous wealth, enormous wealth. If you look at it now, you ask yourself, their oil riches, how much of it represents the world market in the world market? At one time, it was about 10%. It's now less than 5. Guess what they're turning to now to replace the oil riches? Dubai.
Tourism, probably.
Exactly.
Hmm.
So
But I can,
give it about 20 years and it's going to be just like Hawaii.
but I can promise you one thing about Dubai: it will be managed tourism. It will be managed
Yeah.
tourism. It will not be freaking bring them all in and deplete our resources, screw with our residents. That's what we have. We have a dysfunctional we have dysfunctional management of our tourist industry. They don't give a crap about retail. Our infrastructure cannot handle
Mm.
30,000 people coming in a day. You think they give a damn? No, man. What was their response? Go build a freaking $100 billion rail project. Come on, guys. That's so but pathetic. And I know Jamie says then he vetoes. Yeah, he can veto, and that is why it's critical that the legislators stand united together, which is
To
almost
override
impossible,
to
and then
override the
override the veto. I think if the if the legislators and the problem is that these legislators know the history, the trends, the how Hawaii people vote. Hawaii voters have very short memories. So it's typical, right? It's always the same. Election time, they come around, they're gonna tell you all the good that they did. And most people are gonna believe and they're gonna vote because of the name and the popular and blah blah blah. But if the only question you got to ask yourself in this next election, because it's been 2 years or it will be 2 years, is what have they done for us during the pandemic, really, in your district? And that's how you decide. And if there's a new person running that you can stomach, then vote for them. These people got to understand that if you do not speak and act for the people you represent, that you're not going to be there much longer. But again, the typical Hawaii voter, they forget, they remember the name, they nice, they like the ads, they count how many people holding signs on the side of the road. The guy with the most sign holders gets my vote. That's why we have what we have, people. That's why we have what we have. And if we don't change the way we select our representatives, then things not going to change. Things not going to change.
You know what I like about tonight as we're discussing this? We're talking about a mechanism that really should be in place to fight this virus. When the mechanism, such as your administrative branch, your legislative branch, if it's not working properly, we can talk all we like, but nothing effectively will be done to stop the influx of this virus. We can't even handle what we have in our state right now. We can't even mention what proactive protocols that can be put in place to stop the spread. You remember at one time everything was uh, talking about stopping the spread, right? Flatten the curve, flatten the curve. We went away from that. We had a lot of fun doing it, but it really made sense. You flatten the curve, you buy yourself more time, you bring in the reinforcement, and you keep on flattening the curve until you just smother the thing to death. Then the thing got no place to go. It cannot go up anymore. Thing will stay flat. Did we follow that? No, we got a little bit too complacent and we allowed the curve to take a bite out of our colon when the thing went skyrocket again. That's the problem.
Yeah, no, that is Charlie, and we had every opportunity, man.
Yeah.
We still do. We still have the opportunity. It's just amazing how You know, when you put two magnets of the same polar, the north to the north, you get that the pushback. The north and the south will stock, but the north and the north will push back. I don't. I mean, we know it's the money, we know it's the lobbyists, we know it's the pressure, but I mean, I don't understand how you can be in a leadership position at any level and allow this to continue when you know that the solution was so clear and obvious. We have an ocean that surrounds all our islands. That if we had taken care of that and protected our shores, our airports, if we had protected a lot of that, we would be nowhere near where we are today. If we had brought that numbers down to a manageable level where we could keep the numbers in single, maybe 20, 30 cases a day, no impacts on the hospitals, we wouldn't be where we are today. But we let this thing run away, and that is the part that's troubling. That is the part that's troubling. Um, yeah, here's a good one here. Just follow some more. That's how you get one case, you shut them down. You get one case, you shut the damn thing down because the lives of their people are more important to them than their tourist economy.
You
And
know,
all I'm not saying we had to shut down, Charlie. All we had to do was re-implement the testing. That's
but
all we had to do.
you know why they do that? Do you know why?
There's the money.
No, but
Money.
why they shut everything down?
Why?
I don't know. I asking you.
I mean, we know why. We know why they stay away from tourism like it's the plague. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. It's kind of
Yeah.
ridiculous. Well, the one of the thing that I had on my second bullet that we'll close up with is, and let me make this real clear. I know because this going to spark some major comments, and I'm just going to say this, and I know some of you guys going to think I'm nuts, but so the founder of Aloha Freedom Coalition, right? He's on the news now. He's telling everybody, hey, I got COVID. I
Mhm.
started the run. I was the one that was, founded this thing. And now I'm telling you guys, hey, don't gather, don't protest, especially at the lieutenant governor's house. I'm sick. I cannot get up. I'm stuck in bed. I cannot breathe. Please, people, please, please, please. Now, first of all, let me just say, well, I think what he did was, to found this Aloha Freedom Coalition, which shouldn't be called Aloha at all. I think that was a huge mistake, and I think that he's got to live with the fact that many people died because of of their group. Um, but I got to give him credit for coming forward, and maybe he's trying to find peace with himself and with God because he knows that he may die. Whatever the reason, my point is this: I thank him for coming forward and making that plea. I know some of you guys think. I heard one person told me today he should die. No, man, I'm a God fearing guy, and I think that he will meet his maker at some point. But if if you realize that you were wrong, if you realize that your actions may have costed people their lives and devastation in many families, and you come forward and you make it right, and you start to tell people that you were wrong, you got to give the guy some credit for that. You got to give the guy some credit for that. Now, if can you imagine if our politicians came forward and said, "Hey guys, I messed up, man. Damn it, I gave you guys the wrong dope, gave you guys the wrong info, and I apologize. I misspoke." Um, that to me is I just all I'm saying is I appreciate him for stepping forward and trying to now tell people to do the right thing, and yet Aloha Freedom Coalition came right back with a statement says we appreciate what he's done for our group, but we're going to continue to fight. That's assholish. That is assholish. New word.
Well, let's take a look at let's dissect this that situation here, so that people can understand. When this gentleman founded that group, their main purpose was just considered frenzy. That's all they were doing. Okay, it's like when you have a group of sharks and you just throw a small piece of meat in the middle of that group. Okay, or like piranhas, same thing. The water will just bubble. And so they feed off of that. So that's why you got all this turbulence creating. This individual now has seen what COVID is. That's why they said, you can make fun of the boogeyman until such time you sleeping one night and the boogeyman lying right next to you. You're gonna have one. I guarantee you're gonna see things in a different light. And he did. But the thing is, his people are still in a frenzy, going the opposite direction that he wants to go. That he's trying to tell them, hey, I got it. The only way that group can change is every single member of their group gets tagged by this virus and they get it bad. And they get it so bad that they'll probably be one of those that because there's no room at the emergency room or in the hospital, they're going to be waiting outside in a tent. And because there's not enough medical staff to tend to them, they're going to be giving one mask and says, just hold on, we'll get to you when we get to you. Because they'll be now part of that triage system. Okay, that's what's going to happen. So, folks, I've said this before and I'll say it again. You think you can outrun this virus? Think again. This guy's a prime example, but it's too bad because he showed the dark side of himself, and so that's why there's many out there that won't give him the time of day or won't accept his apology, and that's just the fact of life. I'm glad he's alive. I don't wish things upon any of my enemies that they die. That's no, that's not me. I do get mad. I like slap heads sometimes, but as you get older, you just gotta rethink what you're gonna do because it's very easy for you to get thrown in jail. And I got too much to live for. But the point I'm trying to make is this thing will come and catch you. But now these people are in a frenzy, and it's like, okay, who has the willpower to turn off that spigot to calm the waters? Nobody right now.
Nobody.
Nobody. So it's people like us who we talk about it. It's people like you with all your good comments tonight. You can make a difference. It will start with people like us and people like you. It will start with we, the people. Because you know what? I want this damn virus to be over already. But it can't be over as long as people goof off. It can't be over as long as people continue to die. I want to stop all of that. But it takes everybody tossing their hat into the ring and saying, you know what? Let's put our differences aside and let's work for the common cause. What is that? Flattening this curve.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to take.
I just wanted to address. I know Hope has been commenting. They are fighting for choice. Absolutely. I'm not sure what choice because they have a choice. You don't understand the mission. I think I understand the mission, and I think Hope. And I just wanted to, that last one that you had, I think was the one that I wanted to really address. They have been trying to get you to understand the limits of the vaccine. That's why we're in a crisis. Same fight. I agree. But I think where I have a problem with that coalition is that they do it while violating the law. They do it while not wearing masks. Everyone has a choice. Your choice has consequences. And the problem with this choice, you have a choice, right? You have a choice, and I'm assuming they don't want to wear masks and they don't want to get vaccinated. That's fine. That's a choice, but it comes with consequences. The consequence is if you're not vaccinated and you don't test and you're not allowed to go into a restaurant. That you have a choice. You have a choice to not be vaccinated but get a test. It's that simple. You have a choice. There's numerous business establishments that have policies that you have to wear footwear and shirts, clothes. You have a choice. You have the right to walk anywhere you want without a t-shirt. That's perfectly fine. But if you go into a store that has a policy, then you wear your shirt. If not, you don't go in. You still have that choice. You have the right. And that is what frustrates me when these people go out in numbers that violate the law. They go out and purposely not wear masks because that's what they're protesting. They have a right to do so, but they're going to suffer the consequence. In this case, there is no consequence because there's no enforcement. The problem I have, Hope, and I mean no disrespect, and I don't want to offend anybody. If I choose to not wear a shirt, I don't impact anybody. I don't. If I choose to not wear my seatbelt, I put myself at risk, not anybody else. If I choose to not wear a mask and go in a group of 10,000 people and possibly spread virus to everyone there or at my home or at the supermarket or wherever I go, then I do have a problem because you're purposely doing unsafe behavior to get your point across. But you have what freedom are they trying to fight for? Because they don't want to wear a mask? Well, don't wear a mask. Just don't go around people. Don't go in closed establishments, in closed areas. That's what I'm frustrated about. Hope it's not. I do not have a problem with anybody going out and sharing their right to protest. I don't have a problem with that. They're marching because they want to be heard. Listen, I think they're heard. The problem is they can do it with the mask on. you know, they could still do it with the masks on. They could still do it by social distancing. In fact, I think if you put 10,000 people 6 feet apart across, you probably cross the whole island. I think your message would be much louder. But when they do things that blatantly violate the law, and I know some of you folks say, well, it's not a law, it's only a mandate. No, it is a law. It is punishable in court. It is the law. Then I have a problem. And I apologize if I offend you, Hope, but I agree with you. I agree that it is all
You
choice.
know,
It's based
Mel,
on your choice.
I've said this over and over again, and what she said was actually directed to me because I was talking at the time. I know it was directed at me, but all I'm gonna say is this: yeah, there's a lot of things I want to do, but I gotta stay within the confines of the law. Okay, if you cannot stay within the confines and you feel you have to go above the law to get your point across, then you know what? You know better than the lawlessness that's happening now. That's all I'm gonna say. I may be making matters worse now. I don't care. I'm just saying that, you want to get your point across, stay in your lane and do it. When you go outside of your lane, like they say, two wrongs don't make a right.
Scotty, I will agree with you. Indoor masks aren't the problem. It is for that coalition. They believe that they have the right to not wear a mask anywhere. That is clear. I mean, that's clearly their motive. But I agree with you. I don't believe in vaccination mandates. I mean, I think it's based on choice. But remember what I said. If you choose not to get vaccinated, then you choose to deal with the consequence. If it means you cannot go in a restaurant unless you have a test, then that's during the pandemic, that is what it is. It is what it is. But I agree. I think our problem right now is beyond masking or vaccinations. It's testing arrivals, travelers. I mean, that's my thing. I think that will create a much bigger impact on on our curve than these mandates that they're trying to float around. Because vaccinated people spread the virus just like unvaccinated people do. So
But
the you want to clip the curve, deal with the testing and the traveling before you go out and the empty threats. I mean, come on, geez, that's ridiculous. This state doesn't enforce anything anyway. They don't. It's what kind of mandate, you know? The mayor in Honolulu himself had a birthday party with more people than was legal. It is what it is, guys. It's just the distrust, the unfairness, the inconsistencies, the division of people. Putting vaccinated against unvaccinated. That stuff ain't gonna work. And it's time we all come together. But again, I still firmly believe that if you're gonna go out and protest, you got to follow the rule. You got to follow the law, and your message will still be heard. Your message will still be heard.
a lot of things require this one simple word: discipline. How
Mhm.
much discipline, whatever you get yourself involved with, how much discipline do you have? Whenever you plan anything, okay, so it's like when you're gonna build a house. I'm pretty sure You're gonna look at what's allowed and what's not allowed. You're not gonna just go for it and then find out, oh, you cannot get your permit to complete, therefore you gotta take them down and you waste all that money. I don't think you can be that stupid. But there are some people that just feel like, hey man, I'm gonna go for the gusto. Then they get mad because why? There there are few and they just don't know why the rest no jump onto their bandwagon. It's because people get brains. People are akamai. They want to see this thing stop. They want to see this virus go away. And they know what it's going to take to get it to move. By following the rules, keeping your distance. And I also read about that what they made a comment about the vaccine. Again, most of the experts never said that the vaccine gonna be the cure all. They never said that. It was always talk about saving lives, not making you 100% immune, but to minimize the symptoms. They said that from the get go. The one who said that you're going to be 100% immune was our lieutenant governor. He did say that, and everybody knows it. That's why I said from before, if you just joined us, if you joined us, maybe go take a look at the rewinds of tonight's show. I said from before he made that comment. He made that comment. And that's why it's very, very hard. Because when you're in that position and you have that much power, what you says goes a long way. Now, if we are law abiding citizens, we can agree to disagree. Yet there are some out there that just don't want to agree with him. And now they're protesting in front of his place, making any kind of havoc. I wouldn't go as far as that. I just state my case and move on. Right? That's all we can do. Law abiding.
Liz, I don't understand why test only the unvax, both spread germs, test them all.
Yeah.
Comment of the night. Comment of
Yep.
the night. There are a lot of good comments. I'm so sorry, guys. I got a hard time keep track of these comments, and that's a good problem to have. But so I apologize if I missed some of yours. We'll try to get better at this. I'll probably need a moderator. We gotta probably bring in a moderator to monitor. But Liz, exactly. That's what causes the dissension. That's what causes the problems in our communities is when one group of people are treated differently than another. And that is what Charlie and I have been saying is wrong for a very long time. You treat everybody the same. You treat them all the same. We know that the vaccinated and unvaccinated. We also know though that the transmission period in vaccinated people are shorter. It's a 3 to 5 days versus much longer with unvaccinated. But that's nor here nor there. That's nor here nor there because you don't know when people get exposed. So test them all. That's the solution, Liz. Thank you for that comment. Thank you for that comment. That's the one I
Yeah.
think we will end with tonight because there is like 1,000 comments. Appreciate all you guys. Appreciate. Thanks, Hope. I watch from home. I'm learning a lot. Appreciate you. We welcome everybody on the show. We do, and we appreciate you guys' engagement, and that's what this show is all about. And we hope you guys enjoy it. We got some good. We'll get Dr. Altenberg this week. Probably bring on Miskovich. I'm see if Miskovich can come on this week. We'll try to line up some good speakers this week. But if not, you got me and Charlie just for I don't know what the heck. Yeah, they came out with this new thing. Hey, they're giving away free home tests today. The feds gave the states all these tests, and here's the website. Click on them. Website
So
down. Try in an hour. Try in an hour. Try
the
in an
test
hour.
they give you full no 8 tests, and you can test every 2 days, 4 times, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So they give 8 tests. I forget
yeah.
how much it was, but it's you sign up for that test. The only thing is, try go on the website, try look at the test. When you do the swab in the nose, the damn thing is about this long, almost 2 feet. It look like a miniature plunger. And every time you poke that bugger in, your left eyeball will pop out a little bit. Nah, sorry. That's not gonna happen.
No, no, no. But Charlie, I tried. I tried 3 times today, and really not because I want the test. I was just trying to test the site, and you cannot get on, man. I don't
Yeah.
think it's working. I don't think it's working. Bring on our mayor. He's been MIA. Yeah, I did. We put out the call. Um, we put out the call. Makes you sneeze. Yeah, yeah. They make me cry and sneeze. And if you go a little bit too far, you fart, and then you know you. And then you know, then
You
you
got
know
you got that
went
thing
too
on that.
far.
You push him, you go like, ooh, lean back a little bit.
Hey
No,
guys, I know damn. I get more teary eyed watching you, Charlie, than I do taking the test.
oh boy.
Um, hey, Rowena Contreras Pangan. I just want to say thank you guys. Rowena, part of Ho'omana. She's the executive director of Ho'omana. They did a wonderful event on Saturday at Ho'omana down at Wailua across Coco Palms. They had a I don't even know what you call it. It's like a event for homeless and houseless, Charlie. It was, I gotta tell you, I went down. I wanted to do a Facebook Live to promote it so we could get more people down there. But the signal down there was too bad, so I had to record it and then come home and upload it. So it was kind of late, but it went all the way from I think from 11 till 2 or 11 till 4. But they had vaccinations. They had the Department of Health there with vaccinations. They had tobacco cessation. They had a diaper pantry where homeless and houseless people could come in and get diapers for their kids. They had all these aid agencies that provide rent and utility relief. But the one of the things that I was so impressed, they had a hot shower van. They have a van, this stainless steel van that I forget who the organization ran. You can help me, but when you go inside, it's two sections. One is for regular, one is for handicap, where you can go in with a wheelchair. And there's a complete shower, hot shower. It's air conditioned too, and they have these people that take care of that. And after the person takes a shower, they completely sanitize for the next person. But it gave the houseless and homeless an opportunity to get a hot, clean shower. And I just want to publicly, personally thank Rowena Contreras Pangan, who has been an advocate for the homeless and houseless for well over 20 years. And this was a dream that she had. And I was there when I saw some of the homeless and houseless people get vaccinated. And they were thrilled. They were excited that they were finally able to get vaccinated. It was brought to them. I just want to say thank you, Rowena. Thank you, Ho'omana, and all of the providers that were there, giving up their time to provide for that much needed community. And it was solid. And I cannot wait for the next one. I cannot wait for the next one. So
I did see in those hard hit areas, like in Louisiana, they have these big tractor trailers. And they have like about 16 washers and dryers, and that's all they do. They go around helping emergency workers, helping people that are displaced, helping people that just need a little breather to do their clothes. You take it right up to them, they give you a number, you go to the tent, have a hot meal. By the time you're done, you come, your clothes is all done, folded. They put them in the dry, everything. And I think that's something that I hope one day we can see that here in Hawaii. I think it's desperately needed.
yeah,
Help.
absolutely. We cannot forget about those down on their luck. Not all the homeless people are drug addicts. Not all the homeless people are crooks. Not all the homeless people are criminals.
Mhm.
People that just down on their luck right now. And they also provided a hot meal as well. So much aloha and love to organizations like that go out and take out their time. And what was so amazing was all of the volunteers that were there were so
Mhm.
happy to be there. It was just a good sight to see, Charlie. And I cannot wait for the next one. Like I said, hopefully it's in a place that has good service that we can actually do
Mhm.
a live, because that definitely
No, what I'll
worth
do is
it.
I'll bring my Verizon puck. We'll start it up and give us a Wi-Fi service in that area, shoot a signal, and hopefully we can, hopefully we can broadcast something. But anyway, Mel,
Roger.
this has been a great night. Let me start by closing off by saying thank you to all of our family and friends that joined us tonight on another episode of the Mel and Charlie Live, coming to you on this Monday, the 20th of September. Folks, this has been a long, drawn out battle. And, I'm sure all of you, we're not ready to concede. Even though the battle looks like it has been lost, it hasn't been lost. It's just been a lot of detours thrown in our path, and we just have to continue moving forward. That's all it takes, moving forward. So, how do we do that? By keeping ourselves safe. And what else can we do? By educating others to keep them safe. The same way the virus spreads, we can also spread the message the same way so we can get in front of the virus and hold it back from spreading more. Okay? That's what needs to be done. If we can do that, I tell you, we're going to end this thing soon, and we can resume and really live our lives better than what we had before. Because I believe the good Lord above is making a way for us to move in that direction. But we all have to be responsible. We all have to take care of what we can do to help others. And one is being responsible and keeping ourselves free from this virus so we don't spread it. Okay. So I ask you, please, thank you again for joining us. We'll try to get more guests on, um, to spread the word. And if not, I hope you don't mind being stuck with me and Mel. We are known as the two crazy uncles here on the Mel and Charlie show. But again, my whole goal of why I did this is, and I thank my brother, even though he's not with us, but he is with us in spirit. But I thank him for allowing me to push forward to bring the message out. So thank you to all of you. Mel,
Oh God, I like this here. Hang on, I gotta share this. Thanks, Melon Charlie. Melon. My cakey face is the name of your show. I guess that would make me the melon. Cool. I love it. I go
right?
anyway, people. Like Charlie said, guys, we can. There's a lot we can do. And the first thing, like we said, is we got to stop the divisiveness. We got to start coming together as a community, regardless what you believe in as far as a vaccine. It doesn't matter. We all one community. We gotta come together. And I know some of you are saying, "What a hypocrite! You bash everybody on here. That's not being together." Well, listen, we as a community got to come together because our leadership has failed us. So we as a community got to come together and take care of our own. We got to come together. Somebody just said, "I can't get my son to take the shot." You know what? Like I always say, no doesn't mean no. It means not at this time. I didn't get enough information. Provide them the right information, and share some stories of people out there. But at the end of the day, it's up to each and everybody's choice, and we got to respect and honor that. We got to come together as a community to make sure we do what we can to stay safe, and not create environments or atmospheres or events that can pass this virus until this thing settles down. So appreciate all of you guys. Tonight we're competing with a ton of the new series from the new what do you call the new seasons of many of the shows. So I appreciate you guys watching us. I will say again, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you go over there. It's real simple. It's Mel Raposo. Go search it up. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell icon so that you get notified every time we go live or anytime we upload a new video. I know we have a bunch of you that's watching on YouTube. We appreciate that. Remember, Charlie and I don't get paid, so it's not. I'm not trying to push this so we don't get paid. CSA Hawaii tonight at 9 o'clock. No, NCIS I think, or CSI, whatever, 9 o'clock. So with that, thank you as always. We appreciate you guys. Yeah, NCIS Hawaii at 9 p.m. You guys stay safe. Remember, we're all in this together, and it's going to take all of us together to get us through this. All right, guys, you guys take care. Stay safe. God bless. Hang on, let me get me off of here. What the hell? How did that happen? You guys stay
Wow.
safe. Yeah, I know. Sorry,
Yeah,
Charlie.
wow. And they just
Sorry.
hawk
I
this,
still
man.
I still learning this thing. I still learning it. All right, you guys. Take care. God bless. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Hello.